A more heartier clap for our presidential escort unit band. Ladies and gentlemen in the house, the song Guantanamera. It is indeed a good morning that we all take cognizance and appreciate the presence of each and every one of us who've joined us today in this very global function, digital solutions for export standards. We do not take it for granted that you've decided to host it in our Republic of Kenya, not only the first time, but also even the last year I was a witness. And today we are also here to raise our standards on exports, and we don't take it for granted. We thank you, and we say karibu tena. The band will give us two more sets of interlude, the first one being the Grand March, and then because of the solidarity now between EU and Kenya, we'll do the Kenyan flag. To start with, the Grand March band. And now the Kenyan flag. Well choreographed piece of that choreographed song of the Kenyan flag. It is conspicuous that our flag has distinct colors. You'll see the black, you'll see the white, the red, and also the green. If time allows, I'll let you know why those colors. Let's appreciate our Kenyan flag, the Kenyan flag. The band is kind enough to keep us waiting for our principal guest, who will join us in a moment from now. Now they're going to give us two more songs. The first song will be El Abanika, and then the second song, Count Your Blessings. The band.
Excellency the President. Let us all remain standing as we will start with two anthems, starting with the Kenyan National Anthem, followed by the European Union, the EU Anthem. If we can kindly remain standing. The anthems. With your permission, Your Excellency, may I request that we take our seats, please? Your Excellency, Dr. William Samoei Ruto, President and Commander-in-Chief of the Kenya Defence Forces, Maros Sefcovic, European Commissioner, Trade and Economic Security, Honorable Lee Kinyanjui, Cabinet Secretary, Ministry of Investment, Trade and Industry, Your Excellency Henrietta Genger, Ambassador of the European Union to Kenya, Mr. Thomas Ostros, Vice President, European Investment Bank, Principal Secretaries present, led by Honorable Regina Akoth-Mbam, Principal Secretary for Trade, Your Excellency, Ambassadors present, Captains of the Industry, distinguished guests. Your Excellency, sir, with your permission, allow me to now invite the Cabinet Secretary, Ministry of Trade, Investment and Industry, Honorable Lee Kinyanjui, to run the program from here and give his comments before he eventually invites you. Why don't we put our hands together as we invite the Cabinet Secretary to come and run the program from here. Welcome, sir.
Thank you very much. Your Excellency, the President of the Republic of Kenya, Dr. William Samoei Ruto, our guest commissioner from the European Union, together with your delegation, Allow me to take this opportunity first to thank you for making time, Your Excellency, to grace this occasion. The European Union is a very important trading partner with Kenya, and they have remained dependable and committed to all the agreements that we have made. Your Excellency, before I make my comments, allow me to take this opportunity to invite the European Union Ambassador to Kenya, Her Excellency Henrietta, to come and make her brief remarks. Welcome.
Your Excellency, President William Samoei Ruto, Honorable Maros Sefcovic, European Commissioner for Trade, Honorable Lee Kinjanju, Cabinet Secretary for Investment, Trade and Industry, Vice President of the European Investment Bank, Mr. Thomas Östros, distinguished PSs, ambassadors, colleagues, representatives of the private sector, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. I'm very delighted to welcome you to the second edition of the EU-Kenya Business Forum, and allow me to express my very sincere gratitude to you, dear Mr. President, for making time despite an extremely busy schedule today. This is showing your steadfast commitment to EU-Kenya relations and to advancing our joint economic and digital transformation journey. And your presence here today is testimony for Kenya's vision to be at the forefront of innovation and sustainable trade in Africa. Today we gather at a pivotal moment since our last forum in 2023. The EU-Kenya Economic Partnership Agreement has entered into force, marking a very significant milestone in our growing and deepening partnership. The EU continues to be Kenya's first trade partner in exports, and today's forum is a key opportunity to explore how we can fully harness its potential, creating jobs and growth in both Kenya and the EU. We are also looking forward to the signing of the double taxation agreement between Belgium and Kenya in the near future. The theme of this year's forum, Digitalizing Trade, speaks to our shared ambition to use digital technologies as drivers of inclusive growth, sustainable trade, and stronger connectivity. From e-commerce to blockchain, from artificial intelligence to secure digital payments, these innovations are reshaping how we do business, and they offer enormous potential to deepen our economic ties. In line with the EU's Global Gateway strategy, the European Union remains committed to investing in quality infrastructure and connectivity, both physical and digital. Kenya is a key partner, and we are proud to support Kenya's emergence as a regional digital hub and innovation leader. This business forum is not just about dialogue, it's about action. And over the next 2 days, participants will connect with decision makers, explore concrete business opportunities, engage in B2B meetings, and discover innovative solutions to facilitate trade and investment. So I encourage all of you to take advantage of this rich program. We also have a special treat today as we launch the European Chamber of Commerce in Kenya, called EuroCham Kenya, which is a new platform to support and amplify European private sector engagement in this vibrant market. Finally, I wish to thank all our partners for making this forum possible. It is through collaboration, trust, and shared purpose that we can unlock new opportunities for our citizens and our economies. Let us seize this moment together to build a digitally connected, sustainable and prosperous future for both Kenya and the European Union. Asanteni sana. Thank you.
Thank you very much indeed, the European Union Ambassador to Kenya, Her Excellency Henrietta Geiger. Allow me, Your Excellency, at this point to invite the Vice President of the European Investment Bank, Mr. Thomas Osmos, to make his comments. Welcome.
Thank you and good morning. His Excellency President William Ruto, always an honor to meet you. European Commissioner for Trade, Maros Sefcovic, an honor. Honorable Cabinet Secretaries of various ministries in Kenya, European Union Ambassador to Kenya, Henrietta Geiger, Team Europe ambassadors present here today, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. It is a great honor to be here today for the second EU-Kenya Business Forum, after successful hosting the first one back in 2023. And the theme of this year, as was mentioned, is digitalizing trade. It is widely known that trade is improved by investing in physical integration, such as cross-border energy, transport, connective infrastructure, and also strengthening political cooperation, harmonizing custom rules and procedures. Additionally, we need to boost the private sector to enhance the manufacturing and services sectors. And one of the best ways is to support Kenya's vibrant SME sector, which drives most of the economy. And on this point, I'm very glad that a little while from now, on this very stage, we shall announce the signing of a financing agreement that will support Kenya's SMEs by injecting much needed capital thanks to the EIB's great partnership with Family Bank of Kenya. And it will mobilize a combined 100 million euros worth of financing towards SMEs and mid-caps active in trade and agriculture sector, with a particular focus on youth and gender investment. But even better is support for the digital revolution, which is a particular enabler of enhanced trade. The growing trade across the continent is driving the demand for enhanced digitization of all processes across the trade value chain. The digital revolution requires heavy investments in physical infrastructure, such as electricity, internet access, and telecommunication networks, as well as investing in digital education and skills training. The European Investment Bank values the cordial and very productive relationship it has with Kenya. And we have so far invested over 1.7 billion euros to support various sectors of the economy that supports trade. Let me give you a few examples. The expansion and rehabilitation of the regional port access road that was launched by President Ruto in February this year, the Mariakani to ease movement of goods and from the port of Mombasa. We have done several investments to increase the capacity of various Olkaria geothermal plants, which have supported the increase of clean power generation to power businesses to produce goods and offer services. We have supported the last mile connectivity project to take electricity access to underserved regions, a key factor in enabling the digital revolution across the country. And through our intermediated lending via local banks, we have provided much needed capital to the private sector to produce goods and services. Through our partnership with private equity funds, venture capital has been able to flow to Kenyan enterprises and especially the digital startup scene. A good example is Seed Star Ventures Fund that invested in POA Internet, which provides affordable and reliable internet to the country's low-income areas. Or the Helios Fund, which recently invested in IX Africa, a leading developer and operator of hyperscale-ready data centers in Kenya. Digitization is one of the key policy priorities of the European Commission under its Global Gateway Strategy. And the European Union has declared its intention to work with partner countries, including Kenya, to deploy digital networks and infrastructure. And the European Investment Bank is heavily involved in supporting these investments. Actually, over the last 5 years, EIB's digital economy lending, looking at sub-Saharan Africa, have mobilized a cumulative 4.3 billion euros, and it is growing. To the larger population of Kenya, the discussion happening in this room today might not touch them directly, but when they get the opportunity to communicate better, go online to study, be included in the financial system through mobile banking or cross-border integrated payment systems, sell their products or services online globally, their lives will be touched in a transformative way. The European Investment Bank stands ready to support Kenya to achieve its economic and development goals for mutual benefit. Thank you very much.
Thank you indeed. Allow me to take this opportunity now to invite the European Commissioner for Trade and Economic Security, His Excellency Maros Sefcovic. Welcome. A round of applause for him, please.
Thank you. Your Excellency, Mr. President, dear Cabinet Secretaries, my dear friend Thomas from the Ostros from the EIB, the ambassadors and distinguished representatives of the business community. First and foremost, I really would like to thank the organizers and to you personally, Mr. President, that under your leadership such a meeting could take place, and also that thanks to your leadership the relationship between European Union, Kenya and the whole Africa is thriving. I have to start by sending the best greetings from the President of the European Commission, who visited Kenya personally several times, and I can tell you that she is one of the strongest supporters of the closer European and African relationship. And I think this is very important, especially in these days, because we see that the global trade is undergoing significant changes, and I want to appreciate the very deep discussion we already had with Secretary Lee, and which we will continue, of course, after our conference here this morning. Because the changes which we see on the global trading floor means that the world suddenly seems to be more polarized, more fragmented and more unstable. And therefore, I think in the times like this, you are appreciating much more trusted partnership. You see who are your real friends, with whom it's easier to do the trade, upon whom you can rely in the time of stress and complication. And that's the reason we all Europeans are here. That's the reason why I flew straight from Japan over to Kenya, just to underscore how the relationship with Kenya, with Africa, is important for the European Union. Because I think that today here we can showcase very important agreement we have signed, economic partnership agreement. I believe that it was a milestone for European Union, for Kenya, but this is also kind of pointer, kind of beacon for the rest of the countries across the Africa. Because the proof of this agreement is also demonstrated, not like the pudding in the eating, but in the revenue, in the growth of trade, in a number of business delegations crisscrossing the both continents. And I think here we have very good story to tell. This EPA, this Economic Partnership Agreement, is in place in something more than a year. And immediately we can see the positive impact on the growth of the trade volume. We are talking about 3.4 billion euros. We are talking about increase of 13%. And we have seen also the positive impact on overall investments flow, which over the decade grew by more than half, by 53%. And of course, we are very proud and very happy that the European Union is Kenya's first export destination, accounting for more than 14% of the exports. The discussion we had with His Excellency, Mr. President, and Cabinet Secretary, my new friend, with whom I'm sure we will be very intensively communicating, Lee, is the fact that I think we are just discovering the potential which exist between Kenya and the European Union. And I would say the first testimony to that is the fact that today we are going to inaugurate Eurochem Kenya, because this just demonstrates that there is interest not only from the political level, but from concrete business operators, from the business leaders who are gathered here in this room, who just want to tap into this potential and make sure when we see each other next time that these percentages would be higher, investment would grow, and trade would be bigger than we have seen it today. When I'm traveling and I'm going to these international conferences, I'm always happy when Thomas Ostros is with me, because here I will do a little bit of a promotion for him and for his bank, because sometimes we tend to forget the European Investment Bank is the biggest public bank on this planet. Nobody has bigger bank than the EIB. And when they put the financial muscle into something, it works. And I know Thomas, that he is a very dedicated person, and just few projects that he mentioned, he just did it out of the modesty, because I know that list is much longer. Plans are even for more investments, and I'm sure that we will be talking to the EIB colleagues a lot. About the future potential, I would just say that we see a huge opportunity for trade. We discussed with Mr. President and also with Cabinet Secretary potential for deeper cooperation in the services, deeper cooperation in the investments. We've also been very open about certain trade irritants, which will go into the detail later on. But we also found a way how to resolve them, how to use the structure created by this agreement to go along the way, and if there is a problem, to take care of it immediately, not to accumulate the things, but to make sure that we are having a clear path for the investment. If you allow me to end on the personal note, I spent in Africa probably my most beautiful years, because it was my first posting where as a young diplomat I was posted to Africa. I still remember not only warm weather, but warmth of the people, beauty of the nature, excellence, sense of humor, and Africa gave me the most precious gift. My second daughter was born here, so I am I'm a big supporter of Africa, as you can see, and therefore I'm so glad that we have such a trusted partner in Kenya, in His Excellency the President, in the Cabinet Secretary, because I'm sure there will be a lot of great and good things for both Africa and Europe happening here. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much indeed, Your Excellency Maros. And from our discussions today, I can confirm that in you we have a friend, and that we are very optimistic of the days to come. Your Excellency, allow me to make my brief remarks before I invite you. So it is both an honor and privilege to join you today at this great forum on the second Kenya-European Union Business Forum. We are grateful to our friends from Europe for their continued commitment to fostering partnerships and strengthening economic ties between Kenya and Europe. We welcome the collaboration between the public and private sectors, both in Europe and Kenya, which is not only crucial, but also necessary for achieving inclusive and sustainable development. Africa is home to one of the world's largest, fastest growing populations, with abundant natural resources and rapidly expanding markets. Kenya is also a peace-loving nation and a key investment destination for European investments in sub-Saharan Africa. Kenya is also one of the continent's most dynamic economies and the economic and commercial center in Eastern and Central Africa. The country maintains a prudent economic policy necessary for investment. The IMF estimates that in 2024, our GDP grew by 4.5% and predicts a 5.5% in 2025. Ladies and gentlemen, Kenya values its long-standing partnership with the European Union, which has been strengthened by the recently signed Kenya-European Union Economic Partnership, and is a landmark achievement and a testament to our shared commitment to achieving inclusive growth, sustainable and mutual prosperity. This agreement provides predictability for the business community and opens duty-free, quota-free market access for Kenyan products into the European Union, while enabling European businesses to benefit from rule-based trade environment in Kenya and the wider region. The elimination of tariffs on all Kenyan goods except arms and phased down liberalization over a 25-year period for goods from the European Union will result in increased trade between the two parties involved. And Your Excellency, I wish to note that we've had a near 30% increase since the agreement was signed, and this is quite progressive. Kenya exports to the European Union have very long time comprised of agricultural commodities such as live plants and cut flowers, tea, coffee, and spices. We also have edible fruits and nuts, edible vegetables, animals, and vegetable fats, and oil seeds. But the EPA now allows the diversification into exports on our industrial and other value-added products. On the other hand, Kenya imports from the European Union comprise mainly of capital equipment and intermediate input into Kenya's productive sector. These include machinery, electrical appliances, pharmaceutical, motor vehicles, paper, and other paper pulps products. We recognize the European Union's contribution to be Kenya's largest trading and development partner. We encourage more European companies to invest in Kenya with continued collaboration in the following areas. That is sustainable agriculture and agribusiness, including climate-smart technologies and food systems. We also have digital transformation, where Kenya offers a vibrant innovation ecosystem. We also have the green transition and circular economy, where we are looking at the renewable energy, e-mobility, and sustainable packaging. We also have infrastructure development and logistics, and we also hope that leveraging on Kenya's connectivity across East Africa will also provide a huge opportunity. Your presence here today provides an opportunity and a rare platform for large and medium-sized European corporates looking for new opportunities to invest in Kenya and Africa at large. On behalf of the Government of Kenya, I wish to applaud the European Union for their financial and technical support and being involved in various projects in Kenya, including but not limited to investing in the Green Resilient Energy System program for Kenya, and particularly the Nairobi Clean Bus Rapid Transit Line 3, and the temperature-controlled shipping that are enabling the transition of flowers and other highly perishable products through sea freight. I look forward to fruitful engagements that will result in better trade between our two nations. I want to take this opportunity to thank all of you, and in particular the President, for gracing this occasion that marks the highlight of today. Allow me, ladies and gentlemen, to request you to be upstanding as we now invite the President to make his remarks. Welcome, Your Excellency. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Let's take our seats. Mr. Marcos Sefcovic, European Union Commissioner for Trade. I guess this is my first time to meet you. Welcome to Kenya. My friend, Mr. Thomas Ostros, Vice President of the European Investment Bank. It's always a pleasure to have you in our country. Your Excellency, Ambassador of the Delegation of the European Union to Kenya, members of the Diplomatic Corps, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. And welcome to Kenya, those of you who are coming here for the first time, and those of you who have traveled from different parts of the world. We say in Kenya, karibuni sana. On behalf of the government and people of Kenya, I warmly welcome you all to this landmark event, the second edition of the Kenya European Union Business Forum. And I commend the organizers for their outstanding preparation and dedication in bringing us together. This year's theme digitizing trade is both timely and forward-looking. It reflects the realities of our modern economy, where digital technology is not just an enabler of trade, but its driving force. Through digitization, we unlock innovation, catalyze industrialization, and create seamless access to markets, information, and networks for mutual benefit of Kenya and the European Union. Kenya is open and ready to do business with you. That is why we have actively pursued and secured multiple and multilateral, regional, and bilateral trade agreements, positioning Kenya as a gateway to global markets. We are proud signatories to the Africa Continental Free Trade Area, which gives us access to the $3.7 trillion market of 1.4 billion people in our continent. Through the Kenya-EU Economic Partnership Agreement, we enjoy privileged access to a $19 trillion market of 450 million good people of the European Union. Under the Africa Growth and Opportunities Act, we have entry into the $27 trillion United States market of 330 million people. Our agreement with the United Kingdom links us to a $3.3 trillion market. Our newly signed Kenya-UAE Comprehensive Economic Partnership Agreement connects us to another $503 billion Gulf market. Closer to Kenya, Kenya remains a key partner in the East African community, a $336 billion common market with a population of 300 million people. Each of these agreements connect Kenyan businesses to global opportunities, unlocking markets, attracting investments, and driving shared prosperity. Excellencies, we remain committed to implementing a pro-trade policy regime that not only foster inclusive wealth creation, but also generate much-needed opportunities. Our goal is to build a comprehensive, resilient economy that benefits every Kenyan, while strengthening mutually beneficial partnership with allies like the EU. As we celebrate the digitization of trade, my administration is implementing bold and transformative measures to build a robust digital economy. We're rolling out, for example, an ambitious last-mile fiber connectivity program, aiming to install 100,000 kilometers of fiber optic cable and 25,000 public Wi-Fi hotspots by 2027, ensuring no part of Kenya is left behind in the digital revolution. Through the expanded e-citizen platform, over 20,000 government services have been digitized, making it easier, faster, and cheaper for businesses to engage with government. We have established 284 digital hubs in TVET institutions, with 400 more under construction. These hubs are becoming vital centers of innovation, enterprise, and digital skills development. Kenya is attracting global technology giants. For example, Microsoft, Amazon Web Services, and Apple have already established a presence in Kenya. Global BPO leaders such as Sama, CCI, and Teleperformance, in fact the leading BPO company in the world, have all anchored their operations in Kenya, positioning our country as a leading regional hub for software development, business process outsourcing, and digital services. To support this growth, we have introduced tax reforms that foster a pro-business environment. The finance bill of this year, 2025, reduces the tax on digital asset transfers from 3% to 1.5%. This signals our commitment to an innovation-driven economy that nurtures startups, MSMEs, and investors alike. These efforts are already bearing fruit. Just last month, the International Monetary Fund ranked Kenya as the 6th largest economy in Africa, up from the 8th 2.5 years ago, projecting our GDP to reach $132 billion by 2025. Our currency has appreciated by 21% in 2024, making it one of the best performing currencies globally. These achievements reflect the sound reforms and bold measures implemented over the past 2.5 years. Ladies and gentlemen, this forum comes at an opportune moment following the entry into force of the Kenya-EU Partnership Agreement. Significant strides have been made in operationalizing this historic agreement, including its ratification and the convening of the EPA senior officials meeting, which culminates in the inauguration of the EPA Council later today. I did already appoint members from the Kenyan side to the EPA Council, and I look forward to positive outcomes from the first meeting that's going to be held today. I urge the EPA Council to explore innovative ways to unlock the vast potential of Kenya-EU trade while addressing current and emerging barriers. We must move beyond good intentions to actionable outcomes that bring tangible benefits to our businesses, investors, and citizens. A major highlight of today's engagement is the launch of the European Union Chamber, I'm told Eurocham. This marks a new chapter in deepening Kenya-EU private sector collaboration. By promoting trade, sustainable development, stakeholder dialogue, and a better investment climate, Eurocham will play a pivotal role. I encourage the establishment of Kenya-EU Business Council between Eurocham and the Kenya National Chamber of Commerce and Industry to provide a unified voice and a focused agenda. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, our partnership with the European Union has been instrumental in driving development cooperation in energy, infrastructure, water and sanitation, urban development, agriculture, and other key sectors. I remember visiting one of our counties with the European ambassador here in Kabonyo, somewhere in Western Kenya, in Kisumu, to inaugurate a trauma hospital that currently is serving that region as part of the building blocks of our strong relationship. The EU delegation to Kenya and the European Investment Bank, whose Eastern Africa regional headquarters is in Nairobi, have been invaluable partners in this journey. As we look ahead, we must broaden our horizon beyond Kenya. I look forward to the upcoming Africa Union, European Union ministerial meeting later this month in Brussels, where we will advance continental priorities in trade, in investment, and sustainable development. I wish you all in this meeting a very fruitful and impactful deliberations at this second edition of the Kenya-European Union Business Forum. As we deepen this partnership, I warmly invite you to the Kenya International Investment Conference in early 2026 in Nairobi. I trust that this delegation will actively engage in identifying opportunities, building partnerships, and including investment deals across key sectors. Ladies and gentlemen, I thank you, and I wish you well.
A round of applause for His Excellency. Thank you very much, Your Excellency. If I may kindly indulge you slightly, Your Excellency, just for 2 photo opportunities. Can we take our seats, please? Let's kindly take our seats. I'll invite all the speakers, all those who spoke, to kindly join His Excellency for a photo opportunity, being the first photo. The second photo, I'll invite all the PSs present and CS William Kabogo to also join in. Welcome. A thumbs up once you're ready. All right, thank you. I'll request now all PSs present to kindly join in. All PSs present, kindly join in the photo. After which we will wind up with the national anthem, just the Kenyan anthem, after this photo. So we'll leave His Excellency on stage while the rest of us will exit the stage. EU ambassadors as well, EU ambassadors. I hear it's Team Kenya with a big smile. Wonderful. Thank you, Your Excellencies. We'll request His Excellency to remain on stage for the anthems. We'll finish with the EU anthem followed by the Kenyan national anthem. So those of us who are seated, kindly let's be upstanding as we are now going to wind up with the anthem, starting with the EU anthem followed by the Kenyan anthem. request that we all maintain our positions as we allow His Excellency to exit at his own pleasure. So kindly, let's remain in our positions as we allow him to now exit.
Thank you so much. We may kindly take our seats. Thank you so much.